Did our ancestors have a dark secret hidden in their diet? What if I told you that for some prehistoric humans, the most convenient source of protein was other humans? It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but startling archaeological evidence suggests that cannibalism was not just a rare, desperate act, but a shockingly common survival strategy. Stay with me as we uncover the unsettling truth about our cannibal ancestors. Imagine the world tens of thousands of years ago. It's a brutal, unforgiving landscape. The great mammoths are disappearing, the climate is shifting, and food is scarce. This period, sometimes called the Hunger Age, pushed our ancestors to the absolute brink. When a hunt failed and starvation loomed, every potential food source was on the table. And sometimes the closest, most available source of calories wasn't a plant or an animal. It was a member of a neighboring tribe, or perhaps even one of their own. It's a grim thought, but in a world defined by eat or be eaten, the line between survival and taboo became dangerously blurred. For some groups, this wasn't a choice. It was a necessity to see the next sunrise. How do we know this isn't just a wild theory? The evidence is literally buried beneath our feet. In places like Goff's Cave in England, archaeologists have unearthed human bones dating back 15,000 years with unmistakable signs of butchery. These weren't respectful burials. The skulls were shaped into cups, and the long bones were cracked open, just like animal bones, to get to the nutritious marrow inside. We see the same patterns across the globe, from Spain to the American Southwest. Cut marks from stone tools on femurs, clavicles, and ribs tell a clear and chilling story. These individuals were processed, cooked, and consumed. The bones don't lie. They paint a graphic picture of prehistoric kitchens where humans were on the menu. But was it always about hunger? Here's where the story takes an even darker turn. Some evidence suggests that cannibalism wasn't just for survival. It could also be a ritualistic or even a strategic act. Think about it. Consuming an enemy wasn't just about feeding your family. It was the ultimate act of domination. You're not just defeating them. You're erasing them, absorbing their strength, and sending a terrifying message to any other rivals. In some cultures, it might have been part of a complex ritual, perhaps to honor the dead or to gain spiritual power. So while a starving family might have turned to cannibalism out of desperation, a powerful tribe might have done so as a display of sheer power and control. It's a chilling reminder that human motives, even in prehistory, were complex and often terrifying. You might be thinking, this is all ancient history. It has nothing to do with me. But what if I told you that the echoes of this cannibal past might be written in our very DNA? Scientists were puzzled by the prevalence of prion diseases like Kuru, which are spread by consuming infected brain tissue. They discovered that a surprising number of people worldwide carry a specific genetic mutation that offers protection against these diseases. Why would this gene be so common? The leading theory is that it's a product of natural selection. In a past where cannibalism was widespread, individuals with this protective gene were more likely to survive and pass it on. So, the very fact that this gene exists in our modern population is a ghostly genetic fingerprint, pointing back to a time when our ancestors ate their own kind. This all raises a profound moral question. Can we judge our ancestors by today's standards? It's easy for us, with our well-stocked grocery stores, to call their actions monstrous. But we weren't there. We didn't feel the gnawing hunger, the freezing cold, or the terror of watching our children starve. When faced with the ultimate choice between survival and morality, what would any of us do? It's uncomfortable to think about, but exploring this question forces us to confront the raw, primal instincts that still lie dormant within all of us. Prehistoric cannibalism wasn't necessarily about good versus evil. It was about life versus death. Judging them is simple. Understanding them is the real challenge. You might assume that as societies advanced, cannibalism simply faded away. For the most part, it did. Agriculture provided stable food sources, and social codes became more complex. But it never vanished completely. Throughout history, in times of extreme crisis, this ancient practice has resurfaced. Think of the desperate Jamestown settlers in the 17th century, or the harrowing story of the Donner Party trapped in the snowy mountains. And even in the 20th century, the survivors of a plane crash in the Andes Mountains were forced to make the same unthinkable choice our ancestors did. These events are stark reminders that civilization is a thin veneer. When society collapses and the grocery stores are empty, the primal rules of survival can make a swift and terrifying return. The history of our species is far more complex and brutal than we often like to admit. The story of cannibalism isn't just about horror. It's about survival, power, and the incredible, sometimes terrifying, lengths our ancestors went to in order to ensure we would one day exist. The line between civilized and savage has always been thinner than we think. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into our dark past. If you found this fascinating, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden corners of history. And make sure to turn on notifications because in our next video, we're going to investigate the mysterious Sea Peoples, a shadowy group of raiders who brought the Bronze Age crashing down. You won't want to miss it.